Guys, welcome back to Simply Fujica, a place for budding and aspiring entrepreneurs. We are continuing our Business Over Brunch series, and today I'm so excited for who we have for you today. Today we are speaking with Kim, and I'm definitely going to allow her to introduce herself. But the purpose of these videos is really to let you guys know that even though all of us don't travel the same paths, we still can find success in the obstacles and things that are thrown in front of us that are meant to take us off our purpose. Really, we can move over them. We can get over them and continue to have a successful life. And I think this person can really speak to that. And I'm excited to introduce to you Kim. Good
Hi,
morning,
good
Kim.
morning. Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us today. My first question is a good one. Tell us about you, your
Oh
background, your
gosh.
life, your education.
Woo.
Tell us.
You said 45 minutes. Okay. So I'm gonna try to keep it brief.
Okay.
Like I said, my name is Kim Mungin. It's born and raised in Los Angeles. Moved away for 27 years, came back because I got tired of the ice and the snow and the winter weather. Let's see, got back in 2018. I'm a mother of two.
Nice.
One is in the Army, and my youngest just graduated college. He has his bachelor's in criminal justice. So proud mom. Yeah, yeah.
Love that.
Far as education, well, I'm going back to school.
Okay.
I'm taking classes now to be a holistic health coach.
Okay.
And next year, I'm going to go back to finish getting my degree. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Now, I want you to tell me because, well, we'll do it this way. I'm going to jump to the second question because I think that's going to open us up to
Right.
your story. Tell
Okay.
us, what do you think led you to your current career path? So that'll allow you to tell us about your new baby and what led you to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am a domestic violence survivor. Yeah, that led me on a whole path of a whole lot of things.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and so it led me to open Divine Reset, which is my nonprofit
Okay.
for other victims, women and children of domestic violence.
Yes.
My hopes, I'm going to speak it into existence.
That's right. That's right.
It's for a shelter where we're going to do counseling, education, financial literacy, credit repair, of course, the transitional housing,
Yes.
all the way up to home ownership, a pathway to home ownership. The vision is big, but as you know, the man upstairs, he never does little tiny things. He always has big plans and big ideas for people. And woo, this one is big for me. I didn't expect it. And maybe in a sense I did, because
Wow.
after getting out of my domestic violence situation, I have been saying for years that he let me live through it so that I could help others get out.
Right. That's right. Yes.
And now I guess he's calling me out on on what I've been saying all these years, because here I am. I'm trying to help others get out.
Yes.
It's a huge task, and my one prayer is I'm willing to tell my story. I'm willing to help others. I'm willing to take people in, as I have been doing over years. But he has to provide the resources because I don't have any money.
Right.
He has to provide the resources, the people, the help, and open the doors for me to tell my story. Open the doors for me to provide shelter and all the things that he's given me the vision to do.
Yes. Now, here's the thing. I think when someone survives something as traumatizing as, domestic abuse, it's
Uh-huh.
traumatizing enough. And when
Yes.
people survive it, we celebrate that.
Yes.
But tell the audience, what made you say, wait a minute, I'm a survivor, but I'm gonna turn this into my life's work? Because for you, this is turning into a life's work for you.
Yeah. Again, as I talk about it, and I have really no problem talking about it.
Sure.
At first, in the beginning, I was ashamed because
Yeah, yeah,
I guess the stigmatism or the viewpoints of people. Well, why did you stay? Why didn't you just get out? It's not that simple.
right,
Having to pack up your life and your kids and run for safety is not easy at all.
right, right.
And I coined the phrase, I had to do something strange for change,
Mm-hmm.
because I had two little ones. My when we separated, my youngest was 5 and my oldest was 7, and I had to figure it out. And a lot of
Right,
my figuring it out, I made a lot of poor choices. Now I can look back and say poor choices, but the choices that I made then were survival,
right, right. Mm-hmm.
because I had to, my only focus was, I have 2 kids, I got to feed them, clothe them, shelter them, and make sure that they're, right mentally after living through it with me. So I just want to help others not make some of the choices that I made,
Right.
not have such
Mm.
a hard road to travel. And in any way that I can do that, call me. My phrase is, although I don't have a shelter and all of that now, um, but if you need a help trying to figure out how to get out, I've coined a new phrase of, call me, let's figure it out together.
I like that. I
Maybe I
like
can help
that.
you with your exit plan, or you need, okay, I need daycare, but I don't know how to get around it. Let's sit down and figure out what you can do, who's there to help, what type of resources are available.
Yes. And then how does the holistic healing, how does that fall into this?
Well, that's another part of my life and my journey. I was 300 pounds at one point,
Wow.
and I
Mm-hmm.
lost weight. And I gained the weight because of depression, because I was going through what I was going through, because I've had a lot of trauma throughout my life. Food became my comfort, and food was taken from me, in a sense, younger, in my earlier years of life. So I began to love food. And anytime I could get to food and eat food, I just ate for emotional comfort, mental comfort,
Yeah.
to for the emotion, the trauma that I went through. And again, if I can help somebody lose weight, because again, I understand how hard it is to lose weight, to mentally prepare yourself. Okay, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't eat that cookie, but eat that salad or that
Yeah.
yogurt or something healthier. Help them make those choices. It's hard, and
It takes strength. Yeah.
it takes strength, and to also know that you're going to make a mistake. You're going to eat that cookie sometimes, but it's okay. It's okay. There's always tomorrow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what I've learned about, even in my life. There's always tomorrow. You make that mistake today, but tomorrow's a brighter day. And as long as he keeps waking me up, that he's giving me another chance to right a wrong,
Yeah.
to bless
Nice.
somebody with the lessons that I've learned through those wrongs that I've made.
Yes. Very nice. I love that. This might be a double-edged sword for you, but
Okay.
what has been your biggest challenge? And what I want ladies hearing this is, how did you navigate through it?
Oh,
Because the women I talk to, at least, I'm
mm-hmm.
talking to a lot of people who have passion. They have the vision, and
Mm-hmm.
something comes their way and they're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do it. Okay,
Right.
maybe I just don't know. Maybe it's not for me. Let me just stay where I'm at. So I would love for you to talk through, how did you navigate whatever that obstacle challenge is? How did you navigate through it?
Well, there's two.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. My challenge was getting out.
Right. Yes.
Okay. That was the biggest and hardest challenge of my life. And it taught me a lot. I didn't know what type of strength I had
Yes.
until I actually got out. And I was thinking the other day, I'm sorry, I was talking to a close friend of mine the other day, and they said, "Oh, I want to pray for strength." I said, be careful.
Yeah,
be careful with that one. I said, because in order to have strength, you have to be tested in order to have a testimony.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah.
And I prayed for strength in my early 20s. I did not know
Yeah.
what.
Wow, that's good.
It set me up for a whole lot of stuff, But now, being 51 and having lived all these years and gone through all those things, and there's nothing that I can encounter now that I know that he won't get me through.
That's right. That's right.
So to answer your question, my biggest challenge was getting out.
Yes.
And once I got out was the challenge of making it.
Okay. Yes. You're out now. So what?
I'm out.
So
I'm
what?
happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't think we spend a lot of time talking about that. That is so true. Whenever you hear a survivor story, we're so excited with the story and the fact that they made it. But then there's a whole slew of things
The whole slew of things that person had to go through in order to get to that point.
Yeah.
And that middle space is where I want to help. From the moment you get out to getting your life back on track. That's why when I named my organization Divine Reset, because it's God resetting your life. That middle space is what I want to do. I want to be that help, that bridge, that hand that you hold in that space.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I love it.
Now, number 2, my second challenge is when I opened or started Divine Reset, it's twofold. One is speaking, having to actually speak
I don't
to
believe
people.
you, Kimberly. I just do not.
You know what? I am really shy. I'm used to being that background person. So being the face of something, that's a challenge for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And part of being the face of Divine Reset and keeping it going and trying to open stuff is the financial aspect of it.
Yes.
I'm taking clothes donations and shoes, and people saying, "Oh, I'll help." Yeah, that's great. And I thank you for it. I love it. I'm stacking stuff away. But the biggest part of that is I need the donation so I can open up the shelter.
For the work.
Yeah, right. So I can do offer the education, offer the home ownership, the credit repair, all of that, everything that I want to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know we have talked about separately, how can we help, and so I think we'll have some further conversations about this because I think part of, I know sometimes people may look at a channel and just think, oh, well, that's just the channel, but really the drive is the women, helping women. And so that's for me, it's gotten to be a bigger purpose because now I've talked to so many that just, for whatever reason, have never really took a risk on themselves, who have wanted more, but for whatever reason, because life does happen. It does, but how do we get over those things? And so that's why when Yesenia told me about, your guys' connection, I'm like, oh, I'm on board. How do I help? How do we get in there? Because I even think, Kimberly, it's so funny because we have a Wednesday night of worship that we've been doing for this month. And Yesenia, somebody says, oh, I think Darlene, one of the ladies in the session said, um, God tells us he's going to do exceedingly and abundantly above. So it's
Right.
funny because whatever you're thinking, even though it's huge,
It's
all that you're talking about, Kimberly, it's
yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
He's talking about more than that. And so as you were talking, I'm like, wow, that could spring forth this, that could
Yeah.
spring forth that, but what I was thinking too is, as you go through this process, this is something I talked about in the last Business Over Brunch. I'm assuming there's, for the financing for your vision,
Mm.
there's I'm assuming there's going to be some grant applications,
Yeah.
right? There's going
Right.
to be, how do I get this funding?
Right.
And I think a lot of times in our community, we fall short of that dream because we don't know how to pursue
Mhm.
those things. Sometimes I've had people ask me for home care, well, how do you research? I'm like, Google. If you don't take advantage of Google, there is something wrong with you.
Right. 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 Right.
But I'm even seeing that. I think some of us don't show up to the table because we really just don't know how.
Mm-hmm.
And so I even think that's a way we can partner. Like as you get through that, how can we then now educate, folks in similar positions, just trying
Right.
to seek that finance that's out there. A lot of these grants, they don't
Mm-hmm.
even get, no
They're
one
not
takes them.
utilized. Yeah.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry, I
Yes.
didn't mean to interrupt you, but
No,
whenever
no,
I
no.
talk
That's
to
good.
someone, I'm like, oh, this
Your
is,
brain is going and it's
yeah.
like, oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Yes. That would be a huge, huge help, not only for myself, but for others who need that information, who need the finances, or at least have a list,
Yes.
hey, go here. They're giving out money for this, or call this person, go to this website. That would
Yeah.
be a huge help. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And for anyone who's listening to this, I do, grants is the way to go because obviously you don't have to pay those back.
Right.
But definitely I encourage people to get involved in their SBAs. I know for us, I don't know if that's Ontario or Rancho Cucamonga, they have a very active SBA. I mean,
Mhm.
they are always talking about grants. How do you stand up your business? How do you market your business? Because remember, it really behooves them to really have relationship with small businesses because they keep their cities going,
Right. Right.
So I always tell people get involved, and even if funding doesn't come from it, you can still make connections with people who
Yeah.
are in those classes because
Yeah.
everyone wants it. When we all get together, I think as small business owners, we're like, so what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do? And then next thing you
Networking.
know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
keep going with what you're saying, Kim. I appreciate it. So
No,
you're still figuring that out. Yeah.
I'm still in that
Mhm.
whole figuring it out phase because I opened, let's see, it's not quite even a year yet
Wow.
that I
Wow.
started this. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I'm still navigating my way on how to get to the point of opening a shelter. Yeah.
Hmm.
And it's 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 a lot.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
it's a
It's a lot.
lot.
Yeah.
But I just, it's so amazing that, that your dream is that big to help out,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Even though you're accomplishing so much, what do you think you would accomplish if fear was not a factor?
Whew. I probably would have done this years ago
Yeah.
because in the fear of, like I said, speaking, fear of being judged,
Mm,
and fear of not being enough or knowing enough.
mm,
Because even now, when the vision first came to me and I was praying, I've always thought of myself as Moses. You know how
mm,
Moses goes to God, he's like, well, who am I?
that's
I don't
rich.
even speak well, he's thinking of all the things that he is not, and that he's not worthy of this huge task that God has given him. That's how I think of myself. But I take comfort in the thought that, why not me?
Right. Right.
Because I am a survivor. Who is better to help someone get out than someone who has gotten out?
Right.
I know
Right.
exactly their fears. I know what it is that they need. And even in the phone calls that I get from these women who are looking for the shelter, and I have to keep turning them away because it's like, hey, I don't have anywhere right now. The hardest ones are when they're crying, because I know that point of desperation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, and I start talking to them and I'm telling them, you're going to survive this. You're going to be okay. And I can say that with confidence because I've been there. I've done that. So again, I comfort myself in saying, okay, why not me?
Yes. 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 Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
he let me live through it.
Mm-hmm.
To help.
Yeah. Yep. 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 And they're coming to you. So that to me, those are reassurances, because sometimes when we take on a huge undertaking, you wonder, okay, where are the women going to come from? How am I going to, how am I going to really get myself in front of people? But look
Yeah.
how they're always coming. They're
Always
already coming.
Already coming. I mean, from the day I put the phone number out there, that just ringing, and I get it called at least once a day.
Wow.
And at least once a week, you know, somebody calls for offering clothing donations, shoes and things like that. So yeah, and they're calling in the middle of the night, and they're even are you familiar with Google and how people can send you messages through Google?
Yeah.
Well, they're sending me messages. So I'm waking up at 2:00 in the morning and I'm, sending back messages trying to help these women. And I have a list of other shelters and some resources that they can contact, because I don't have the space right now. And I keep saying right now because it's coming right now.
Yeah. I was even just thinking one thing that we had done at a previous employer, and I cannot, her interview is coming up,
Okay.
but one of the things that we did is we had a fashion show for homeless women, because a lot of the women were telling us, they didn't even have clothing to go on an interview, and they didn't feel confident,
Right.
and so with some of the clothing that you have, we could potentially, we can use the office and just do kind of like a clothing fair, or
Yeah.
something to say, hey, come get some things so you can feel confident in your interview, so you can feel good.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm telling you, I'm telling you, between the three of us, there's some things we can do.
Yeah.
Even now.
I had even thought of, it's on my to-do list, contacting one of these cell phone companies. If you're listening, one of those cell phone companies, if you're listening, that they could give me some of their refurbished phones.
Yes.
That I could give to, pass out to some of the people who get out, so that they could do away with their old phone number and just start fresh. Start with a new number.
Know what?
And that's what I wanted to do. And not only that, again, on my to-do list, I would like to get a PO box, because where victims can have an address.
Nice.
Where you can start getting, if you need social service, you need to have some sort of address.
Wow.
Try to get a PO box for that. That's on my to-do list. To partner with, either postal service, if you're listening. Call me. Let's see what we can do. Yeah.
I love it. Look how creative you are.
I'm
Kimberly.
trying. Yeah.
You are so creative and so innovative. And I do, this is not, this is not a Wednesday night of worship, but I do want to say this because I think it's important for someone who's listening. For all those years, you didn't think you were that speaker. You didn't think that you had that skill set, but I'm just, continue. You're such a beautiful speaker.
Oh, thank you.
And I think what the enemy tries to do is snuff out the very thing that God has given you to take his vision for you forward and to carry it through. So I'm just so thankful that even though that's something you were thinking, you didn't let it stop you because you are a beautiful speaker.
I appreciate you and I thank you. And before I speak, I always pray.
Oh, yes.
And I always ask God to send me the Holy Spirit so that his words come through me and that he gets the glory in the end. And then I go into it.
Nice.
So it's not me talking, it's him. It's really not me.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. At this point, up until this point, because we're still moving through, what do you think has been your biggest accomplishment? And you may have a personal and professional one.
Yes.
Depending on what you want to share.
Okay. Well, accomplishment 1, getting out.
Yeah.
2, my boys being, I call them my boys, they're grown men, but in my mind, they're still my little boys. They're my babies. Being productive adults in society, because that was the one thing I never wanted them to be, was a statistic, because I was a single parent for a very long time. I didn't want them to be a statistic. Like I said, one is in the Army. He's serving his country. I'm proud of that. And the other one just graduated college with his bachelor's. So I'm excited about that. So those are my 2 accomplishments. The other one is opening Divine Reset.
Yes.
And personally, I'm doing things that I never imagined that I would be doing. I'm doing background acting.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? I never would have seen this a year ago. Me, I'm going to be on different shows if I don't end up on the cutting room floor. But yeah, I'm doing background acting work, and it's mainly for fun. But it's one of those little things that you can add to your life story. Oh, you know what I did? So I'm talking about that. So that's an accomplishment because again, I'm shy. I'm shy. I'm the person that loves to do all the stuff in the background.
Yeah.
Getting somebody such as yourself ready to be out in the front so that you look good.
Yes.
But to have to actually get out there and put myself out there and to speak and to be on camera. So yeah, that's an accomplishment.
You know what? And I think that's another good point for anyone who ends up watching this, is just challenge yourself to do something you wouldn't normally do. There's so much freedom on the other side of that. And they're really, to your point, I think, we're always wondering about what someone else thinks or what someone else, but listen, they're talking anyway. Look, let me let you in on a secret.
Right. You're right. Yes, you are so right.
Yeah. It's just like before, the call, we won't say everything that happened, but I'd love to see that support. Surround yourself with people who support you, and anyone who's not in that vein, okay, they're gonna have to stay over there.
Yep. And the older I get, the less I want to be around that negativity.
Yes.
The less I want to be around drama. I don't even want to. I probably shouldn't say this, but I don't even want to watch those drama shows.
Yeah.
I can't. I want all positivity.
Yeah.
If you're not going to help me get to where I want to be, okay, peace out.
Yeah, I think you're serving as confirmation for me the other day, and I won't say the shows because I don't want to say anything about anybody, but my husband comes in, I didn't have the TV on, and he's like, "You're not watching?" I'll just say this, "You're not watching your reality shows?" And
Right.
I was just like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? I don't want to hear the yelling tonight. I don't want to hear the
Exactly.
yelling and the
Yep.
screaming and
Yep.
tearing each other down. Like my spirit was like, we're not doing that tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have to turn that noise off
Yeah.
because I want to stay in a place of pure positivity.
Yes.
And if I want to put it out, I want it to come in.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, that's true. That's good. That's good, Kim. That's really good. Um, for anyone, so your story is a little bit different. So I'm going to ask this a couple of ways. So the question is, what advice would you give women trying to reach their goals? But I also would like you to give advice to someone who finds themselves in a situation, whether it be abusive, whether, because a lot of women that I talk to also suffer from, and I don't even know what that's called, like economical abuse,
mm-hmm,
if they're in a
mm-hmm,
household where, they're not working, it's
right.
typically the spouse that's supporting the whole household, and that person feels economically that they can't pursue what it is they would like to pursue. So there's different types of abuse.
Yeah.
But I would love for you to speak to that. What advice would you give?
You're going to be afraid.
Mhm.
Times are going to be hard, but don't look back. You have to move forward. And when I decided to get out, I had gotten to a place where it was me or him.
Yeah.
It was his life or mine. And as I shared with you, I had gotten to a place where I had started plotting and planning how I was going to end his.
Mhm. Mhm.
And having been a correctional officer, I knew what it was like to be behind bars. I knew the the consequences of that action had I moved forward with it. But
Right.
my mind was in such a state of desperation.
Yeah.
It was either that, and I also, and I didn't share this with you when we talked. I had thought about suicide.
Mm.
So again, his life or mine. But then I was like, you know what? I can't.
Mhm.
One, jail.
Right.
Two, my boys.
Right.
I had to be there for my boys. And three, I knew that there was a higher power and he would get me out somehow or another.
Mhm.
And I can't take credit for getting myself out because there were so many things that happened that when I look back, that what is it, the story of footsteps and how the
Yeah.
person turns around and they only see one set.
Yes.
That's me. Because I could not, there was no way that I got myself out of all of those situations and those circumstances and the things that I went through. He had to carry me because there were days that I didn't eat. There were days that I didn't have money. I barely made it to work. My car, I put duct tape on top of duct tape
Mm.
just to get back and forth. But I don't even remember, in a sense, breathing
Mm.
because I was just in that moment and he carried me. And it's hard to explain of being there, but not being there. I
Yeah.
was physically there, but mentally, I don't think I was there in a sense because I was so focused on that end of my journey. And he got me to the end of that journey.
Yeah.
So again, anybody that's in that situation, don't look at your now. Don't look at the end of the road. Take it one step at a time. And that's how I went by it.
Yes.
I had to tackle, okay, we got to eat today. I'm going to deal with that issue right now. Okay. I got to get to work. I'll deal with that issue at that moment. But if I dealt with everything in a whole, it becomes too much and too overwhelming, which I guess in a sense, I'm talking to myself in the business right now of don't look at the end. Okay. You know what? You need to get this, go get this.
Yeah.
Like I say, my to-do list. Okay. Well, I need to call a cell company. Let me do that right now. And then 9 months from now, look how much you've accomplished.
Yes.
As far as getting out or as far as reaching that goal. And what's the second part of your question?
So you kind of answered it, but I feel like that was personal, but then business. Someone who's trying to pursue their business, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, that I think I'd answered it.
I think you answered it. Yeah.
One step at a time.
Yeah.
One issue, one point, one task at a time.
Yeah. And sometimes that's all you have,
Yeah.
because I think a lot of times we think the picture should be complete and
No.
we should see the beginning and the end, but sometimes you don't see the end. You know what the end result, which you think what you think the end result should be, but just because you don't have a complete picture, that's not meant to stop you. That's really just a call for faith.
Just keep going. Keep going. And as long as he's in it, he'll provide it. Yeah. That's why I'm working towards my goal with Divine Reset, and I'm doing my part, but I'm heavily leaning on him to send me the resources, the people, all of that. Because again, I don't have any money. I don't know anybody, Only thing I have is a story and a willingness to tell my story.
Ooh. Yep.
But he is infinite. Yes, he has infinite. He has it all. He can, what did you say? He can take me to places more so than I ever thought of or dreamed of or imagined. Yeah. He has that. He has the doors to open. I'm just waiting on him to open up them and let me to walk through.
And for you to walk through. Wow. Yesenia, do you have anything?
I do. I have two questions. One, what can we expect from Divine Reset within the next year? What is your vision? What is your plans?
I prayed a couple of months ago, Lord, I want to be off my job, my full-time job, and completely working in Divine Reset, helping other women get out. That's what I want to do. I don't know if that's what his plan is, but it's out there. Hey, I would like to completely be out there talking to people about Divine Reset, about how to help other women, to giving out cell phones, to say, hey, here's an address that you can use so that here's the education portion of it. I really want to immerse myself in it and be completely full-time in Divine Reset. That's my goal for the next year. And that's what I'm hoping for.
Nice.
And do you have social media? Can they reach out to you on social media? How can they contact you?
Yeah, everything is it's in the works. I believe I sent you, Yesenia, the website, the link, and he's still working on it. It's divine-reset.webflow.io. I think I'm pretty sure that's it because it's changed. It went from one server to another, so I believe that's it. That's one way to see what I'm planning and how to get in contact with me, or you can call me. The number is 888-75-RESET or 888-757-3738 is the number. Yeah.
And then they can call you there and donate if they'd like to, right?
Yes. Text, call, or if you need advice, you need help, need me to come and talk to people, because that's another thing that I've been doing. I've been going around to schools, or well, I went to a school and talked to a class, and because some of the women that were in the class, they were actively in situations, domestic
Wow.
violence situations. Yeah. And in my talking, there were just tears everywhere. And I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting for what I had to say. It's like, again, who am I? But again, I guess the things that I was saying was touching not only the women, but the men were crying too. That's the part that took me. I was like, wow. It really surprised me. So yeah, if you need me to speak to someone who's in a situation, call me. Like I said, call me. Let's figure it out together. I can give you, consult in a sense on how to get out and help you find the resources, give you ideas on what to do.
That's beautiful. So we'll make sure your contact information will be in the video description below. And so I loved what you said, again, this is a community of helping each other out. So if any of you watching this are aware of any grants, aware of any funding opportunities, make sure you include those in your comments. Make sure to reach out if you would like to be a part of her ministry, a part of her vision. We would love to see that as well. And of course, use that number if you are looking to speak to someone. Kimberly, we just have a couple of minutes left. Those are the end of my questions, but you give us our parting words.
Oh gosh. My parting words are, again, if you want to get out, just call me. I may not be able to provide shelter, but I can at least point you in the right direction on someone else who can. I can help you with strategy on how to get out. I have clothes, I have toiletries, I have shoes, and I'm going to try to partner with cell phone companies. If you're listening, I want to partner with one of them to see if they can provide me with cell phones for victims so that they can, as you said, go call for interviews and Zoom meetings for the interviews, or call for the resources or whatever, just to try to start their whole life over again.
Yeah.
And Microsoft, Dell, HP, if you're listening, I can use computers to give to the people so that they can search for jobs, so that they can apply for jobs, housing, all of that. Hey, rental companies.
Yes.
If you, or even real estate companies, if you have real estate where that you would like to donate, I'm putting it out there,
Put it
so
out
that these
there.
women can have a place to go. That's my biggest need, is having a place for these women to go. Because there's nothing like walking into a place that's supposed to be your safe haven and being afraid.
Yeah.
That's the worst feeling. I remember days of sitting in my car crying because I didn't want to go home. I didn't want to go inside because I knew what was waiting for me. The anger, the tension, the stress, the fear of being in that situation and wanting to go and not having anywhere to go. So yeah, my biggest need is a place for these women to go so that they can breathe.
Yep. So they can exhale.
So they can exhale, yes.
Well, that was very beautiful. This was all that I expected. I thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
transparent, for being an example of, we don't always have control over what happens to us, but certainly there is a way out.
Always a way out.
There's definitely a way out. I love that you talked about strategy, because sometimes, it is about putting together a plan
Mhm.
to make sure that you exit safely, as much
Mhm.
as you can. And, I applaud you for wanting to do more and to reach back and help. I think that's the most beautiful part of your story for me is not only surviving, but saying, wait a minute, I gotta go help. There's still some folks in, so I gotta
Yeah,
bring them out. I think that's
yeah.
beautiful. And because of that, I believe what you're doing is going to be blessed. So,
I thank
I
you.
thank you so much for your story.
Thank you.
We will definitely be in contact. Guys, that's
Yes.
all we have for you for this session. Again, we'll make sure that Kim's information is linked at the bottom of the video. Please reach out if you have any resources or any help. But that's all we have today. Thank you so much, Kim. Thank you,
Thank
Thank
Eugenia.
you.
you.
Thank
Everybody else,
you.
stay blessed.